President Trump ordered to pay over $350 million in fines and is banned from running a business in New York for years following a civil fraud trial in New York.
The president was quick to call out the judge following this ruling. Watch this.
He's crooked as you could get, and a lot of people expected something like this, but not for the amount. But this is a very dishonest man. This is a man that's been overturned already on this case 4 times.
Here to break it down, former acting U.S. Attorney General Matt Whitaker. Matt, so great to have you on this morning. So break this all down for us. What does it mean for the president moving forward?
Well, it's in the near term, he's going to have to fight through the appeals process. I think this case, from a legal standpoint, is very weak. The judge gave a forum for Letitia James to make ridiculous claims, and ultimately the judgment is untethered to any number. There was no victim, no bank was lost any money, no insurance company was out anything. And so, this judge just picked a number out of the air, hoping to punish Trump, the Trump organizations, the Trump children, and others in the Trump organization. And I think it just is, it's disappointing. But, the other thing that's going to happen here, Rachel, is you're going to see businesses fleeing New York.
Right.
Just like Elon Musk left Delaware, you're going to see these businesses leave.
Hey, Matt, he's going to appeal. How long does that take? We got the splashy headline today, but is he likely to ever even pay? I mean, if the case is so flimsy and you appeal it, ultimately, do you think he'll win on appeal?
Yeah, it's appealed to the New York Court of Appeals. It's going to be a 7-judge panel, all appointed by Democrat governors Cuomo and Hochul. And so, there is a chance that that justice is not only delayed, but could be denied, unfortunately. But I think in this case, this Judge Engoron was so fundamentally biased and unfair to President Trump that the Court of Appeals is going to have to insert themselves. And remember, the U.S. Supreme Court does sit above these state Supreme Courts ultimately, and could, if necessary, and especially in an unfair anti-due process case like this, where he wasn't even allowed to put on a case because it was ultimately decided on summary judgment, at least on the liability, and then we've been watching the damages piece, that could also make its way to the U.S. Supreme Court because it is so fundamentally inconsistent with American jurisprudence.
Quickly, Matt, it's not just conservatives who are concerned about this. Let me quote, an Associated Press analysis of nearly 70 years of similar cases showed Trump's case stands apart. It's the only big business found that was threatened with a shutdown without showing obvious victims or major losses. I know people talk about the 2 tiers of justice. That sentence seems pretty damning on that front.
Oh, it's incredibly damning. I mean, this was all about the Attorney General of New York, who campaigned to do exactly this, harass and sue Donald Trump to get him out of business in New York, and she has, in the near term, accomplished that goal. I think it is because of that last 70 years of cases, and also just the way the law is set up. I don't think this is going to stand, but today, it's a very frustrating outcome, I'm sure, for the president.
All right, Matt, let's move down to Georgia, where it has been must-see TV to watch Fani Willis first take the stage and attempt to defend herself, talking about hiding cash and no, she didn't know Nathan Wade. Well, her father took the stand yesterday trying to defend her daughter. Here's a portion of what Fani Willis's father, John Floyd, said yesterday.
It's a black thing, okay? I was trained, and most black folks, they hide cash or they keep cash.
So what's the argument here? Because if it doesn't matter what you're taught or what your background is, if it's campaign cash, you're not allowed to keep it. I think that's the allegation here, right?
Yeah. Well, and so that's the interesting thing is the DA, Willis, in this case, brought in this issue that she had a large amount of cash from her campaign for DA in 2020. And I think that shocked a lot of people. But, they're trying to prove that there was not a conflict based on their business relationship. The fact that the county was paying the special prosecutor, and they were also having a relationship. And so the only way they could explain that away was if she reimbursed half of the expenses for their lavish romantic travel, around mostly Central and America. And on cruises, the only way that would make sense is if she reimbursed half. And that, I think a lot of people just kind of shook their head and said, that sounds very, very specious.
Specious is a good way to put it. So I paid him in cash, but there's no record of it, which Nathan Wade has acknowledged there's no record of it.
Convenient.
Conveniently.
Yeah.
It's a black thing. That's what the dad said. That's some crazy stuff. And of course, all of this, this case, the case you talked about before, all of it part of a scheme, I think, to interfere with the election and damage the president, at least tie him up and distract him from campaigning in many ways. Ahead of a very important election. Matt Whitaker, we really thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.